All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have on the phone with me somebody who, excuse me, I've watched for a very long time in professional wrestling. I'm excited to talk to him. Please welcome to Wrestling with Ruben, Mr. Frankie Kazarian. Frankie, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Psyched to talk to you and psyched to talk about any and everything regarding pro wrestling right now because it's such a fun time to be a fan and a wrestler.
I'm glad you clarified pro wrestling. I have to put my political questions away now. But I do want to go way back to the first time that I was introduced to you, and you were in the WWE, and we're not going to talk about the WWE very much, but I wanted to go back to the catchphrase that you had with the WWE that I really, for whatever reason, it just stuck with me. Do you remember what that catchphrase was?
If I'm remembering correctly, I was going by the future Frankie Kazarian, and I used to say, "I'm the future, and the future looks good."
Yes.
I don't know if that's the one you're referring to. Okay.
I don't know why, but for me, that always stuck with me, and I always loved it. And from that day forward, I always thought to myself, man, that if there was a company that just kind of gave you the ball to run with, that you would have been one of the top players in the game. Do you look back at your career and wonder, what would have happened if you would have stayed in the WWE, or are you happy that you left?
No, I never. I don't spend time looking back. I spend time looking forward. I don't live in the past, and I believe everything happens for a reason, and I don't have regrets. My time there was what it was. In many ways was beneficial because it was a huge learning experience for me. I don't waste time looking at things that I can't change and things that already happened. I focus on what I want to change and what's going to happen going forward.
Which is a good place to go ahead and let's jump right into the AEW talk. But this time last year, there was a lot of talk about what would happen after All In took place. I predicted that there'd be some sort of promotion that spun off on this. Did you know going into All In weekend that there was going to be an All Elite Wrestling, whether you knew what the name of it was or not? Did you know there was going to be some sort of spin-off promotion from All In?
No, all I knew going into All In weekend is that it was going to be history making and that it was potentially going to be game changing for professional wrestling and kind of rattle the wrestling business to its core by the impact that it was going to have, and it certainly did that. We saw the fallout right immediately after, and we're seeing it now based on the success of All In and how well received it was by fans and by wrestlers and by everyone around the world. That was basically the seed that was planted that grew the tree that has become All Elite Wrestling. So I knew it was going to be big. Just how big, I don't know that anyone really could have predicted, but a lot of people had a good idea. And here we are now in, a couple months into 2019, and the landscape is different and in a very positive way, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't think, I personally had no idea, who would be involved, who would be financing this. I had assumed that, the group of the elite were going to figure all that stuff out and that us fans would just go along for the ride. And here we are, again, almost 3 months into 2019, and there's some serious money behind All Elite Wrestling, and there's a lot of talk of major television deals and big talent acquisitions. What are your expectations as far as distribution for the product goes? Because I'm on the side of the conversation that I don't think you guys need television right away, but there are a lot of people who think that you guys are going to live or die by your television deal. Do you have any expectations as far as distribution goes, or are you just with the mindset of, just let me know where to wrestle?
Well, first and foremost, I think what's more important behind All Elite Wrestling is passion, be it by the wrestlers, be it by ownership, management. There's so much passion involved in this project, more so than I've ever seen, and I've been doing this for 21 years, and I think that is being someone overlooked, that the people involved in this are very, very passionate and very, very knowledgeable and intelligent about professional wrestling. Dare I say, there's never been this many good minds from a business standpoint and from a pro wrestling standpoint that have come together to do something like we're doing. Now, in terms of distribution, I personally would love to eventually be on a network on primetime, because I grew up watching professional wrestling, first on Saturday mornings, and then later as a teenager, when obviously the Monday Night Wars became the thing in pro wrestling. So that's my personal preference. I would love to be on a primetime network doing what we do, because I think there's a large portion of the wrestling audience that want to watch a different type of wrestling on television, on a certain day of the week. Yes, the way we consume media is so different now than it was back when those Monday Night Wars were happening. Everything's streaming, and there's so many different ways to consume wrestling. But personally, I'm still a fan of television first and foremost, as opposed to opening up a laptop and watching something on there. I still like watching a product on my television, be it a television show, a movie, whatever the case may be. I like watching things on television, and I think there's still a humongous portion of the audience that feel that way.
And I agree. I agree 100% that there is something to watching television, pro wrestling on television. I've just heard so many people talk about how, if for whatever reason they can't get, AEW can't get a television deal, that's the end of the line for them. I'm like, well, part of me is thinking, yeah, if they can't get a television deal, like a year or two into this, it might be an issue. But, if they start out doing something with a streaming network or, strictly on YouTube, just to build that following even more, I don't think it's the end of the world, just not to have that television deal. But I'm glad to hear that you are also a fan of traditional wrestling on television. That's encouraging to hear. Let's talk about you jumping into the AEW circle. Is there a time point in the last 6 months where you made your decision, like, yeah, I'm definitely going to jump onto the AEW train and ride this as far as I can go? Or was that something that kind of came spur of the moment for you? And what was that moment, if you did have that moment? What was that moment?
No, I mean, closing out the year, I was still under contract with Ring of Honor, and so I couldn't really make a decision. I could only think about scenarios that would be presented once that contract was done. And look at there, I had offers from many companies, to be completely transparent. And it's no secret that me and Chris Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and the Young Bucks and Cody are very good friends. And once I found out what their vision was and what they were looking to do, I was thrilled to jump at that and be part of it, because I've watched firsthand the Young Bucks phenomenon grow, and I've watched at how popular they've become and how they've done everything so non-traditionally, and the groundswell that I've seen it before my eyes, and knowing what they want to do going forward, I definitely wanted to be a part of that. And the fact that they wanted us there, they wanted SCU there, because we've built something pretty special. We've built something that fans are very, very passionate and excited about. One thing at all these, at the Jacksonville rally and at the Las Vegas ticket on sale party, I don't know if I've ever seen fans more just excited and happy, and most importantly, positive. Pro wrestling a lot of times, feeds off of negativity. In the couple months that we've been doing things with AEW, fans have been so positive and just so happy and so thrilled, and they're so genuinely happy for us, and they're happy for the fact that there's going to be a different product, an alternative out there for them to watch and for us to all enjoy together. And they feel like they're a part of it, and they should, because they are. Because without them, this wouldn't be happening.
Absolutely. And I, one of the things I've seen on the internet all the time are, whenever there is a negative comment about all Elite Wrestling, for every one negative comment, there's like 100 positive comments, and people telling them, like, just chill, let's wait, let's see what happens before we really judge this product, because, you guys haven't really put a show on yet. Like, there's nothing to judge outside of a couple rallies, and so far those have been really good, and I've never enjoyed watching press conferences until you guys started doing them. So, so far I've been very entertained. So I'm glad that you're a part of it. we're in the last portion here of the internet of our interview here. Double or Nothing coming up May 25th, Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. Sold out in 4 minutes, so there are no tickets available, but there will probably be some sort of pay-per-view distribution. For the people who are listening to this, can you give 3 reasons why they should tune into Double or Nothing on May 25th?
I can probably give you more reasons than that. First and foremost, again, wrestling fans like to be part of history. If you're going to be in Las Vegas, or if you're just going to watch at home on pay-per-view, you're going to be part of history, because this is the first branded AEW event. And you're going to be able to tell your children, your grandchildren, your friends that you witnessed the first AEW event. And then you look at just the card announced so far, and that's only a couple of matches. Obviously, my match I'm very excited about, myself and my SCU partners, Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, against Shima and 2 of his partners from OWE, and that's Oriental Wrestling Entertainment. That right there, if you haven't seen what those guys can do, it's unbelievable. That is something unlike anything you're going to see on any professional wrestling television show in the United States, bar none. It's incredible. Then you look at what is, in my mind, the main event, obviously, Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho for the first time in the United States. Look at what they did in New Japan, and those are 2 of the biggest stars in professional wrestling right now, and fans are going to be able to witness that for the first time in the in the United States, in Las Vegas. And then you look at what was just announced as the Young Bucks against Penta and Phoenix, 2 of the best tag teams, dare I say, ever in the history of the business. It's just, and there's so many variables still that haven't been decided. Who is Cody going to wrestle? Who else is going to show up? What's going to happen? It's the one word that pops into my mind when I think about May 25th is excitement. It's going to be exciting the entire weekend with StarCast and everything leading up to it. It's going to be exciting. And if you're a professional wrestling fan, or if you were a professional wrestling fan and the product on television in the last couple of years hasn't really been to your liking, give us a chance. Let us make you a fan, because I promise you we will.
Well, I'm excited. I'm getting chills just thinking about Double or Nothing and the matches that you laid out. I was getting chills just waiting to see all these matches. Let everyone know where they can find you on social media, your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Twitter is where I'm most active. That's just Frankie Kazarian, real easy. Instagram as well. It's Frankie Kazarian Official. Pretty active on there. I like to keep everybody updated. Of course, continue watching Being the Elite. I'm usually on that show. That's highly, highly entertaining, and that's where, in the time being, a lot of storylines and ideas are going to be laid out, between now and Double or Nothing. And also, there's the Road to Double or Nothing show on YouTube as well that you guys should be watching. All you fans that want your AEW information, that's where you're going to get it from here until certainly Double or Nothing, May 25th. And yeah, just keep following us. We're constantly going to be announcing new things, new matches, new merchandise. Just keep up with us.
Awesome. We'll go follow him on all social media networks. Frankie, thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And hopefully I will see you in May. I am still trying to get my tickets for Double or Nothing. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks again for doing this interview.
Well, good luck, man. I hope to see you there, and no problem, man.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure, man. Thank you. Hello?
Do you guys still need me, or are you guys good?
Hello?
Do you guys need me still, or are you guys good? Yep.
T-Mobile. Para